Hello, folks. How y'all doing today? Damn thing, right? Anyhow, so, folks, it's like this. The American Empire is killing America. It's real simple. I mean, there it is, right? At this point, like I say, I'm post-wall, okay? I'm post-America first, you know? I've accepted that basically all that was a cheap con, the GOP and Trump pulled out, to bring in suckers into voting for what I consider to be a Trojan horse, okay? And that's this Trump train. Oh, yeah, I shaved for those of you. No one kidnapped me and replaced me. Don't worry. I decided I didn't like being a Muslim anymore. Now I'm playing it. It's just a joke. Now, the fact is that Trump was always nothing but a little slim hope. Okay? He was like, that there would be some kind of split in the internationalist sort of consortium on what was going to happen in the future, the diversity, the tolerance, the rest. And that some of his populist rhetoric would become some kind of policy and actual legislation. Okay. Basically, there was a slim chance, not no chance, but a slim chance that, that he would actually stall the decline long enough to give other more functionally capable people the ability to sort of do what had to be done, right? But no. Now, let's be realistic about this. The Cuckley Club, right? The Country Club GOP, the Rockefeller Republicans, right? Okay, look, if you're a rural white Republican, you probably just want to sit down and shut up because really you're not with these people. I don't know. If you're one of those people who doesn't dig Martin Luther King, you're not with these people because their problem is that they want to remain loyal to the same icons, the same values as not only the liberal Democrat left, but the international communist left, while pretending that they're a conservative, America Patriot side-based party. They're schizophrenically insane, okay? They have this bizarre adherence to these rationalist, liberal 17th century fantasy notions about humanity, society, nation, states, and everything else under the sun, right? They're simply a joke, to be honest. They're a joke, to be honest. You understand? So, that the GOP would fail at draining the swamp, i.e., taking the MIC and the elite internationalists that have bled America dry since about the 1960s when they staged their little social revolution and took over. It's kind of absurd because their impact with those people's values, they're master and men like this, okay? So, what will be needed to be free of this, in the end, is a new party that has real-world policy objectives, like, building a wall, changing immigration, this, that, the portions, the other, you understand? Okay? That are both solvable by increments, because, you can't politically get anything done that is based on magic. Sorry, it has to be based on real-world things. It has to be able to be, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that, we do this, boom, we're done. X amount of increments, whatever it happens to be. Okay? Right. And this is crucial for the ethno-nationalists, pay attention, is policies that are desirable to the white populace at large. And if they're not desirable right now, well, then making them desirable is part of the job of political cadres. They motivate people to believe in things. They sell an idea, a mission, a concept, We're going to make white America great again by building green things in clean communities. It'll be safe with low crime or whatever it happens to be. We can come up with all kinds of platforms, yeah? Right? But the concept is it has to be openly targeted at the population we want. We propose the following. Okay. 1. End this world police mission. Just end it. Stop wasting money everywhere in the world defending nonsense. Stop pretending we're the world's mommy. Okay? Now, this is easy policy in a lot of ways that can be used to poach from almost every side besides the ethno-nationalist side. We can be like the Sith on this one. Wise. Why do this? Because our main opponents that wanted to destroy us, this is one of their main pillars of their support. Yank it out from under them. Yank it out. We'll rebuild. They don't have that luxury. This particular thing from all sides can be used as a wedge. It can be used to draw a line between those who support internationalism, whether they claim to be right or left, and those that have some notion of populism or nationalism. And from there, we can try to bring people over to our side. But that's correct. The political cadres above who popularize ideas and bring new consciousness to people who say, hey, perhaps what you've been taught was wrong. Maybe this might be a more profitable way to view things, yeah? Right. Now, the fact is that Zog's insane, and the Zionist-occupied government, it's not actually a very inaccurate term. We could just call it the American Empire government, if you like. Their little cult of the mercenary, the cult of the veteran, only survives because people don't say, hey, look, you were paid. You were paid. I don't owe you anything for killing peasants in the third world so that Wall Street could make big money. You didn't defend me, dick all. Now, you know, because your paymaster doesn't care about my freedom. Your paymaster wants to take my country, destroy my culture, destroy my people, replace me with a colored horde of third world savages. So you didn't defend me at all by doing that. In fact, you helped your paymaster. And you all have been since Vietnam. All those boat people that poured in, that was a real benefit, wasn't it? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not going to celebrate that. And it only survives because people won't. And getting rid of that little taboo is all as simple as it takes to end the world police mission. There's no honor in it in the first instance. Going to fight so that Wall Street users and scumbag international corporations can make big bucks while you die and your family gets screwed and makes less and less at home. This isn't honorable. It's the most lackey, low-life, servile, peasant-like way of thinking I've ever encountered in my entire life. Factual. Truth. I have to swallow that pill. Real bitter, I know. Now, second, this is the next big one that'll save us a lot of money and cut us out of a boat ton of drama. Cut the petrodollar tie to the corrupt Gulf states. We can also drop the Zionists like a hot rock out of go. So we can be free of the Palestinian nonsense. We can be free of feeling like mommy over at Syria, like feeling like mommy in Jordan. I mean, really, we babysit Jordan. Jordan's one of the most corrupt dictatorships in the world. You know, we pay Egypt to exist as a dictatorship, I guess. You know, right? We keep Saudi Arabia propped up. We pay for them to do just horrible things to these Houthis. We can be all done with that if we simply leave the bad deal for the American people, for you and I, for the regular working day, middle class, and even most of the upper class people. This Bretton Woods petrodollar agreement is a bad deal. We shoulder the cost for all these wars while international corporations and scumbag bankers, as well as these oil chic trash, rake in trillions. No. Game over. Quit that. Okay? It's shameful that a great nation even has to consult or is basically ruled by such shithole countries as the Zionist settler state and the Saudi pseudo-state, because Saudi Arabia is not a real state. It's a fiefdom. It's pathetic. Okay? And that can be easily riled into the population by promoting the simple idea that our money pays for Wahhabist terrorists, of which ISIS are the premier example, as well as Salafist-style terrorists, of whom Al-Qaeda is the premier example, and that's through Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and we should mention probably Israeli secret services, but that's a little harder to prove. They're more slippery. The other two do it openly. It can be easily demonstrated to anyone with a mind. It's sad and sick that we continue to promote this, defend this with our Navy, our Army, our blood, our money, and keep the petrodollar propped up, just so some grubby scumbags at the Federal Reserve, on Wall Street and such, can be rich. Down with these parasites. Now, speaking of parasites, it's time to end NATO. Okay? My feeling on it is, in a big way, it's time for our European brethren to be free of World War II, you know? And for the Pax Americana, which has lulled them into this death cult status, to end. Okay? They're big children. They need to pay for their own defense. And when they do have to pay for their own defense, a lot of this utopian fantasy stuff that they have going on, that'll end. You understand? Moreover, if they didn't have Big Mommy in New York and in the city of London, they work as one, you know, constantly working on them to make them weak, they might actually be able to oppose some of this immigration and civilizational collapse in a more effective and nationalist-friendly way, yeah? Okay? Now that we've freed ourselves largely of being involved in the world, let's go to our own home. 4. Keep North America safe by securing the borders from the Arctic to the Gulf of Mexico. And if Canada don't want to go along, you're a little brother. You're going along. You don't get a choice. Shh. Okay? I'm not a Democrat, so I don't care about who voted for what. We're going to stop the inflow of Asian and Hispanic people into North America and preserve a white super majority. And then turn, eventually, the goal is always, is to make an ethno-state openly. Openly. We want an ethno-state. We don't want to accommodate diversity. We don't want to tolerate it. We want an ethno-state. Okay? And securing those borders is the first step in doing that. Now, ensuring you have funding. That's where you do the thing that very few people like these folks. The Federal Reserve. Basically, they're scum. They're one of the linchpins of the petrodollar system. They've made trillions and trillions and trillions off loaning us what in effect is our own labor. It's ridiculous. Our own time, our own efforts, our own stuff, if you like. It's sickening. Okay? So I say, why not just replace that bank with a bank controlled by the Treasury? Okay? Wow. It would seem like those profits could go into the public coffers and we could save tax. We wouldn't have to, bring in tax. Inefficient, because tax is always inefficient to collect. Profits are relatively easy to collect. If it's set to a low number, people won't complain. They'll be happier than under this system, and we'd have a better financed nation. Huh. Oh, that'd be cool. Then we can just kind of cut Wall Street and the square mile in London, the city of London, they're out, and give them zero. Zero for their treachery. Absolutely zero you get, Judas. Not a penny one. Never pay a traitor. Now, 6. Basically take the world policing money, the NATO money, and the money saved on the public debt from restructuring your own debt once you control your financing so that you're not, that's right, being bled dry year on year on year like serfs. Take that and put it into rebuilding critical infrastructure that's commerce friendly, but as commerce neutral as possible, as least favoritism as possible, and retooling industry to productive pursuits that build widgets that are not used in war. There's a concept. Build things people need at home. Put people to work. Bring them back from guarding the borders of South Korea. Have a few of them guard the border here, and the other ones do useful work. Oh, there's an idea, huh? Now, there's a real idea. Isn't it? That's radical. But you see, if nationalists push with this and have political cadres, they should be able to promote this and make it fairly popular. This opioid crisis and drug crisis in general, there's no lie about it. It's largely pouring in through the southern border with the connivance of Hispanic, Mexican gangs, right? They're federales, and frankly, let's put it, we have corrupt apples on our side of the enforcement equation too. Now, these are the people that produce, sell, distribute, and otherwise provide these drugs that cause lots and lots and lots of chaos, pain, suffering, and so forth across middle America. Yes? Right. I say eradicate them like you would rats, like you would cockroaches, like you would a din of poisonous snakes. You send in special forces troops the same way we do in these faraway countries, but we do it for our own actual goddamn national interest here into the mountains of Mexico, torch their facilities. Torch their chemistry labs. Kill their chemists. Simply seize their chemists that make any drug whatsoever and kill them. Kill this key personnel and you can stop production cold. Rights? To hell with their rights. They produce poison that kill people, for God's sakes. 9 nicks, no rights. No way, that's nonsense. And as a connected policy to that, fix the demographic problem by having massive deportations and roundups at the exact same time you're hitting Mexico. Don't allow them to pour on the border. Seal it tight. Then hit them. Round up on this side. And define Mexican broadly. Everyone who's brown and speaks Spanish, you get to be Mexican today unless you can prove you've been here an awfully long time. We're just going to drop you off 200, maybe 300 miles into Mexico. You see, when you've seen on TV our people rounding up chemists and just beating in their skulls in the middle of the streets, you'll get on the trains and you'll leave. Okay? That's right. And don't think Americans are horrified by this. No. Liberal pussies on the blue state coast are horrified by this. But people who live with this meth, with the heroin, with the cocaine, with the destruction of their families, with these friggin' colored gangs of barbarians that ruin their country, their county, their cities, their lives, They don't have any problem with what I'm saying, not in the least little bit. You understand? Now, these are openly, absolutely, completely ethnocentric. They are as self-centered and unconcerned about others as you could be. The only country I even know that even has policies this radically self-centered is a particular settler state we're not supposed to name because it's evil to compare them to racist Nazis like us, actually. Right? So, that's always a good little, but what about Israel? You know, promote actions in the end that will lead to a North American ethno-state or states. That's what all of these policies are about. They're about ensuring that people care about here, that they become more parochial-minded, that they don't give a goddamn about cosmopolite values or the UN or any of that nonsense. Rejected. Get out of here. You understand? And most importantly, perhaps, they openly reject the silly notions of diversity, inclusion, and tolerance, acceptance of the death cult, you know. The death cult mantras is what they are. And that they are in every real world just that. They're just babble. They're just babble that produce death. Oh, we have more diversity. Great. We're going to have more crime, more rape. Ooh, more poverty. That's lovely. It's almost statistically guaranteed. Who says this to themselves, right? I mean, say it. Liberal democracy is a diversity death cult. It's anti-life. There is no demos. There are no people under this democracy, and it isn't liberal, it's communist, right? No people under the layers of verbal gibberish. None. Only humanity, i.e. some weird death cult, which is abstract and not based on real flesh and blood people. Okay? All right? Now, no shame again. What we're saying here is, I guess, racist. It's exclusionary. It's tribalistic. La, la, la. That's good. It's great. I'm happy about that. Only an asshat isn't. You see, being exclusionary, being tribalist, being willing to say, this is my family, my community, my people, you know, boom, there's a limit to this, and inside I care, and outside I don't. This is healthy. It's healthy. It's natural. It's normal. Okay? It's cucking to the cancer that is tolerance, that is unhealthy. It's like saying, oh, I have lung cancer, but I hate to do anything about it because it'd be anti-cancer. Yeah. It is in fact playing the weak, but the liberals are the real racist nonsense. But I just laugh at people and think, what a bunch of cowards that has caused this utter mess, since it brings the GOP, the entire conservative cuckleite, you know, right, into pact with the liberals. And in your country, if you're an Anglo country, I'm sure you have a bunch of conservatives just like these. The fact is they're master and man, these conservatives and the cultural Marxists. They're two of the same. They're linked. It's hard to know sometimes who's master and who's man, but they're both one of them. Yeah. All right? So it's tolerating these failures of the GOP, the Buckleyites, the conservatives. What have they conserved? What have you conserved? Nothing. Right? And now this personality cult that excuses every action of Trump. That is what is wrong, evil, ignorant. Since no free man with any dignity, with any pride, with any sense of his history, with any sense of community, with any sense of himself, would allow such failed leaders any more leeway over his mind or over his loyalty. Bullshit. You understand? Okay? Martin Luther King, as the colorblind saint of the MIC GOP, that's FUBAR, right? You understand? Free men don't allow this. Only weak people will bow to such vile man-made idols of the mediocre. Okay. The sodomy, slutty, Coca-Cola, rock and roll, Stormy Daniels culture, you know, that we are enforcing at the tip of air power, that's FUBAR. Okay? I mean, if you enjoy the modern West, you are part of the FUBAR. You know what I'm trying to say to you all, folks? Okay? So, to end the FUBAR, we must end the empire. To end the empire, the basic steps above that I listed need to be completed. All right? Now, in the long term, it's going to be noted this is not strictly a choice. America is not exceptional. Material forces operate on America. America has begun to wane. Now. It's already begun. You can't stop this process midterm. No empire has ever done it. You can only pull back in order and keep a rump state, and we can keep North America. Or you can wax into nothing. You can simply go boom, and you go bang, and you're gone. You'd be like the Neo-Babylonians. They just don't exist now. Or the Romans. Find me a Roman. Find me an actual true-bred Roman. And we only have so much time before the FUBAR that killed the Romans forces our hand at events, before our Germanics, as it were. But they won't be Germanics. They'll be barbarians, very colored barbarians, who will destroy our racial stock, whereas the Germanics actually brought a healthy infusion of blood to the Romans, you see? So this will actually be even worse than the barbarian invasions, because not only will we get no culture, our blood stocks will be destroyed. Destroyed. So before you whine and snivel about, oh, we can't end the empire and we can't promote these things, so we'll be called racist and this and that. Are you afraid of words? Or do you want your people who have existed since 40,000 years ago to go extinct because of your cowardice? If you want to survive, you must stand up to the FUBAR and call it FUBAR. Thank you.